listen, it's lovely. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, myself and Victoria are going to be talking about back to school, which we all know about, happens every year for us. It's a massive time of the year for us. It is the busiest time after January, February. So this is when martial arts schools really thrive. Get ready, get their influx of students ready to take them through to December when it does get a bit quiet again. So this is the time to get on board and make the most of it, because this is when organic growth is going to happen for you. So let's make sure that it's as organic and engineered as we can possibly make it to get your numbers right up there and get you ready for November, December when it starts to quieten down again. Okay, so listen, we're going to be taking you through a few things. Victoria and I are going to be talking about concepts. Victoria wrote an excellent guide, which people who are with Nest, our clients, you can access that through the marketing toolkit. Now we're going to talk a little bit about that as well for you guys who aren't with Nest. And by the way, for those who aren't with Nest, thank you very much for joining us today. It's really nice of you to spend the time with us. It's nice for you to get a bit of a feel for who we are and what information we hope we can add some value to you at the end of this. So lovely to see you as well. Okay, let's crack on with it. Victoria, we talk about back to school every year.
All the time.
We prepare a lot for it. We see it as this kind of haloed period of the martial arts time for us. But in reality, we are going to go into it. Is marketing, should our clients' marketing be that different? Should their advertising be that different to what it is throughout the rest of the year?
I think making sure you're marketing throughout the year is really, really important. That's the key thing. We want to make sure that we're staying consistent throughout the year, because you build up your brand within your local area, people get to know you. So having this constant stream of marketing works a lot more effectively than going, oh, I'm going to be quiet for 9 months of the year and then I'm going to ramp it up for back to school, I'm going to ramp it up for January, and that's it. So
yeah,
in terms of from a marketing perspective, strictly speaking, at the lowest level, you just need to be marketing throughout the whole year. But when we get to back to school, it's more about seeing it as a massive opportunity. So it's when you put yourself in the shoes of a parent, their kids are going back to school, they're starting that new school year. It might be a new school if they've moved up a level or they're going to school for the first time. So all in their minds is everything about new beginnings and changing stuff and things happening. So it's a really good opportunity to kind of get in their mindset and make the most of that chance, basically, where they're looking for something. So they're going back to school, therefore they might know that, oh, actually we need to sort some after school activities out, we need to know something, or we're a bit worried about them going back to school because confidence levels aren't really there. So it's about a time, getting there in that time when they're in that mindset. They're also in a buying mindset. We're in that, get to that point in September and through the school holidays where we are now and that run up to it, where parents know they've got to go out, they've got to get the uniforms, they've got to get the lunch boxes, they've got to get everything sorted, they've got to be prepared for September. So if you can get one of those things that they need to prepare to be, I need to start my child doing some sort of activity, doing martial arts, you're jumping in at a point where that mindset is already geared and they're already in a buying mindset, rather than you trying to kind of get them separately and at a point where that isn't quite so on their minds. So it's just a good opportunity of a year. It's not so much the fact that it is they're going back to school that makes it an opportunity. It's the fact that it's the time of the year and everything that rolls into that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I get that really resonates. There'll probably be many parents on here that are feeling that pain of, oh my Lord, I have to buy everything and get ready for back to school. It's something, you know, when the kids break up, it feels like they've got this massive, well, they do have this massive holiday on their hands, and parents don't have to think about it for a while. It's not until now, and we you know, we talk about back to school actually very early on, and we have template material for you guys that we released quite a while ago so that you could prepare it, and hopefully you've been using that before today. But actually the reason it's important to review it now as we're getting closer is because actually this is the time that parents will be seeing it, isn't it?
Yeah, so and it's also about,
it's definitely not too late.
Oh no, 100% not. No, it's a good time. And it's also that thing of, you can use that almost parental panic, I suppose, of, oh God, we're going back to school, to actually be like, don't worry, we can make this nice and easy for you. Here is how you can sign up. We can do you a free trial. If you sign up now, you get the first month free and a uniform for free. So that's another thing that's ticked off the box. It's how you frame that to the parents to make it as easy as possible for them, because that's going to make them convert, basically.
Yeah. So on that topic then, Victoria, we've established that advertising is essential throughout the whole year, not just at back to school, obviously. But if they've seen you throughout the whole year, then when they're in buying mode, they're more likely to come to you because they've seen you advertising throughout the year. So what should our clients be thinking about? We talk about a more tailored marketing concept when we get to back to school. How can clients utilize that? How can they tailor their offers and their material to back to school?
Yeah, it is. It's about that tailoring. So thinking about things like, how does martial arts help them at school? So we all know that the benefits of martial arts that puts martial arts above your swimming, your football, your things like that is the fact that it has that self-confidence. We directly see kids that take part in martial arts improve better academically. So that's on a parent's mind at the moment. So make sure you're including that in your advertising. Things like anti-bullying, all that sort of stuff that's potentially going to be a concern of parents at this time of year, making sure you're getting that at the forefront of your advertising, because as I say, that's the thing that we've got in this industry over other industries. We can tailor very specifically to that school environment. Also, the thing of offers and things that can go within back to school, that's very common at this time of year. Like, you go into any supermarket or into any town centre and all the offers are all around back to school and things like that. So as I said before, it's on a parent's mind. So if you can make an offer that is for this specific period, they know that offer is going to be ending in a few weeks' time because the back to school period will be over. So you can create that kind of moment of scarcity and that I need to get part of that now because that's only going to happen at this point of year. You can do things like tailor your offers to specific schools. So if you know that, like, I know speaking to a lot of clients, they will have 2 or 3 schools that 90% of their children in their classes come from. You can then do your advertising to say, oh, pupils of school X, Y, and Z, if you join during the back to school period, if you join in your first 3 weeks of term, we will give you X, Y, and Z, and that's what that offer is. Whether that's an extra week of a free trial, whether it's a school uniform, a martial arts uniform, whether that's something that they're going to get that is specific to them in that because they're at that school, and you know that actually that's going to pretty much target everybody in your whole area, right? You know that that's going to cover them. You're not really excluding anybody. But when they read that ad, they go, oh, my kid goes to that school. Actually, that's an offer just for me.
Yeah.
So it makes it feel a little bit more personal. So it's just about tweaking that stuff and being kind of clever with it. So it doesn't have to be a different offer to the offer that you ran in January or you ran over Easter. It can be offering the same kind of package again, but it's just how you frame that to make people feel like, oh, it's only happening because it's this time of year, it's the school offer, so therefore I want to take advantage of it now.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you were talking about that martial arts is actually the only kind of activity and sport for children that it really does have synergies with academic schooling, and I think our guys could really integrate that into their marketing campaigns. So, you know, feel confident at school, discipline, the work that they put behind it to get higher and get higher levels and grade. It all really resonates with the academic, whether you agree with the academic approach or not. It really resonates with that, and you're able to use that to your advantage in this, and use it to your advantage when going into schools, right? So a lot of what you talk about in your guide is forging relationships with schools. So, you know, being able to use that to sell the benefits of you to the schools that your children teach at, and use that as a mechanism. So could you talk to us a bit more about that and how clients would kind of forge those relationships?
Yeah, like it's a really good opportunity. As I say, a lot of schools will find that the majority of their students come from a certain number of schools. So if you can build a relationship with that school and use the fact that those children in your classes already go to the school, if you can use that to kind of build on, it's a really kind of easy and also quite a low cost way of marketing. I mean, we're always looking for something that's going to kind of give us good bang for our buck, right? So if you can get into a school and be able to visit a school and say, oh, actually, I've got 20 students in my school that already come here. I'd like to get more of their classmates in here, we can see that we've had really good testimonials from their parents that have said that actually their confidence has built, their academic results are going up, they've made friends, then all these kind of advantages that we've got. If you can relay that to a school, they're far more likely to accept that relationship, because it can be really hard to build. And also the thing that you've got to remember is that schools are at the moment very busy, very underfunded, struggling for resources and things. So your in can be things like, actually, we can come into you and do an assembly because we've got 4 students in your school that have graded over the last few weeks and we'd like to present their belts to them. That could be a really nice in, and it's about just building that relationship. Like, I think sometimes I'll see clients and they'll go, oh, well, I sent an email to a school and nobody replied, so it's not going to work. It's like, actually, probably the person that got that email, one, might not be the right person, and 2, probably gets a lot of those emails from a lot of providers every single week, month.
Yeah.
So if you can be the one that stands out, go in and have a chat. Like, I mean, I know we've got Wayne on the call, and I'll call him out for doing this. In fact, he turns up with a box of biscuits and goes and has a word with the people on reception. Like, just build that relationship. It's about like what makes you buy from somebody, what makes you build a relationship, and do that the other way around. Because schools are a really good way of doing that, because it can start with doing an assembly that then results into doing some classes, which as part of those classes you can hand out leaflets or give out something that then brings leads in, or you can do after school clubs there, or you can do holiday clubs. Like, a school relationship can really mushroom into something over time, but it just needs that first bit of an in. So it can sometimes be things like seeing if any of the parents of the kids that you already teach, maybe they're teaching assistants at the school, or even teachers, hopefully that would be amazing. If they work in the reception, if they're on the PTA, if they get involved with the events, all these things, anybody that's got a bit of a link to that school, it's somebody that's already in your community that's bought into your school and your ethos and what you do. They can then take that to a school and hopefully build on that to make sure that that's your in effectively, and that gives you an advantage over another provider that's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. Don't wait for that school to come to you.
No.
Force that strategy, engineer the strategy and get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, now all I can think of is chocolate malted milk. I'll have to run to the shop immediately after this webinar. Okay, something else that you talk about, Victoria, and we do see a large influx. This is, you guys probably won't be shocked to know that Gerard has an extremely strong and successful budget that he plans at the start of every year. So he budgets exactly how many new students and how many agreements we're going to get in every single month, and it's pretty much bang on every time we get it. We budget for a decline in business over summer, and you guys have probably experienced that. Things go very quiet. It's a mixture of organic and probably cannibalization, because you expect it, so it just happens, right? But anyway, most people do see a slight decline. You're going to see a massive influx in September or October, whether you like it or not. That's just what happens in the industry. So something else that we don't often focus on, and not many people do focus on, is how do we actually make sure that we don't cannibalize the current student base in an effort to service these new people that are coming through the door. Yeah. So I know you talk about a give it a go strategy.
Yeah, so things that that kind of it kind of goes into the retention piece, doesn't it? In terms of, we don't want to focus so much on new students that we then upset our current students, because we all know that it's a heck of a lot cheaper and a lot easier to keep somebody long term than it is to keep adding people. It's that leaky bucket scenario that if they're falling out the bottom, you've got to keep putting them in the top to keep your numbers anywhere near a decent level. So that idea of almost getting your current students to be part of that kind of retention strategy for each other, and then also acquisition of getting new students, is that idea of you just build the community and then they almost sell your school for you to those new students. So these like give it a go events can be really, really good, because you can get your current students involved. They feel like they're having kind of a fun day, they're doing stuff, they're getting involved. That idea of, I think you're really good now, please can you help to show somebody new, is really good from both sides, because one, you're getting the new people in that get a trial and get to see stuff, but also you get the nice feeling for your current students to go, oh yeah, actually last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was the new one coming in at the beginning of a school year. Now I've learned all of this, let me help to share that to people. it also helps from like a facilitation of that day. Like, we all know it's really hard to put these kind of days on where you do an open day and you bring people in, and that can be really intense to be in your school for an entire day, kind of with that game face on and trying to convince people to join and do that. So if you can get your students there, like your current students are your biggest advocates, right? They're not with you because they don't like you. They're with you because they love the school and they love coming to the lessons. So let's get them to do that. Referrals and things come into that. If you can say to them, oh, we're doing a big open day next Saturday, bring a friend along, we'll do X, Y, and Z. If they sign up, you will get a hoodie, a water bottle, your next month's membership free, whatever you decide to offer as that. It's just this, you're including them in it rather than it making them feel like, oh, actually, you've cancelled my class this Saturday because you're doing an open day to try and bring new students in. Well, that doesn't feel very nice because now I'm not getting to train. I'm missing what I pay for you to try and make more money. So if you're bringing them in, it just creates that bigger community environment, and it's win-win on both sides because they have a great time and then they show that to those new people that are coming in for a trial.
That doesn't have to be specific to back to school, does it?
No, not at all. It works year round.
Strategies that work all year round. It's just a way to manage it more in back to school when you are going to see a bit more of an influence. So brilliant. Okay, well, we've talked a bit about strategy, why it's good to do it, themes that our clients can bring in that synergize a bit more with back to school concepts and academic, how to touch the hearts of schools and receptionists and forging relationships there. So I guess that brings us on to the main topic that most people want to know about, is how to produce a really good Facebook ad to get more of that kind of global marketing underway. And this is Victoria's bread and butter. This is what she does. She sees it everywhere. She researches, she looks at what other people are doing, and then she will work with our marketing agency to create some awesome template material that is available to all of our clients. So Victoria, can you share that work with us?
You're right to do the screen share.
I'm going to share my screen so we can show you what we've got. And obviously for clients, this is all available to you anyway, but Victoria's going to talk more about.
We'll pop a link in the chat which goes to the back to school campaign page for current clients. So that basically takes you onto the page that's got lots of information, some of the stuff that we've talked about today. And then also all of the templates, we've got ready downloadable assets that you can use. So that's Facebook ads, Instagram ads, posters, leaflets, all that sort of stuff that's there kind of ready to go. But what you can also do is download those templates for Canva. So we'll put also in the chat, we'll put the link to one of our Canva templates for you to use. So even if you're not an S client, you can access that. Basically, you can go into Canva and use that. If you need specific help on Canva, then we can kind of help you in the marketing team. But basically, the best place to go is Canva Do a Design School. And that talks you through absolutely everything that they do. And the reason we direct you to there is because that has all of the new features that get released. They can kind of create that quicker than we can. So yeah, that's a really, really good place to go. So have a look at that. But so I'll chat a bit now around kind of the specifics of creating an ad and things, but with templates and things, I'll show you some of the campaign page in a bit. So if we're talking about Facebook ads, because I know that's the main kind of ads, I suppose when we talk about Facebook, it's important to remember as well that we talk about Meta. So Facebook also includes Instagram. So make sure that you've got your 2 pages of those links, because that means that then when you post an ad, it will go across both platforms. So you're kind of getting double the ads for half the work effectively, which is always good. We like to make it as simple as possible. What I'm going to do today is I'm not going to take you kind of click for click through posting an ad, because if I'm honest, it's a little bit dry and it's a little bit boring. And it's not something you want to sit through at your lunchtime. If you do need specific help with that, then we do obviously run specific sessions, and I can give you one-to-one help if you need that. But what I'll do today is talk you through some kind of the top level stuff and the major kind of strategy stuff that you will need and that will help you to create some good ads. So first off, the thing that most people kind of almost fall at the first hurdle, I suppose, is that when you go into Facebook ads, or Meta ads, I should say, and click create, you get this option that asks you to choose your campaign objective. So what type of ad? I'll simplify it massively for you. All you need is either a traffic ad or a leads ad. So traffic ads are ads that we would recommend if you can get people booked in directly onto a trial. So if you're using our Get Into Martial Arts pages, or you've got our booking widget, then you can put the link to that straight on this traffic ad, and that will help it. Basically, what a traffic ad is doing is directing people to a website. So one of the things that I will see people do, and that's quite a common mistake to make with meta ads, is that people will use a traffic ad and then they will direct people straight to their website and straight to their homepage. If you're doing that, it's making it harder for your lead, because what you want people to do is convert as quickly as possible. So if you're sending them straight just to that homepage, you're leaving them kind of hanging in the air where they've just got to go. So maybe your ad said, book a free trial, do X, Y, and Z. We want you to come and try out our school, and then you drop them onto a homepage. They then sort of go, oh, where am I going? And attention spans are so short that you're losing them. So I would say use a traffic ad if you are offering that free trial and they can go straight to booking. That works really well. Your other kind of good alternative is a leads ad. So a leads ad allows you to create a lead form within Facebook, and you can put any number of fields on there, but I would recommend to keep it kind of basic down to first name, surname, email address, telephone number. You can then collect that information, and that allows you then to reach out to them, contact them, and kind of do your sales piece around getting them to book into a trial. So it depends on what your process is as to whether you prefer to get them booked straight into a trial and then you contact them afterwards with confirmation of that and to build that relationship, or whether you want to do that relationship building ahead of time and then speak to them to find out what trial lesson you want to put them in as to what's best for them. Then that works better with the leads form. A kind of really quick aside is, with MyMA, we do have a link with a software called Zapier, which allows you to create a leads form, and that can drop straight into MyMA. So if anybody wants any more information on that, then let us know and we can get in touch with you and help you to sort that out. But that means that you don't have to do the kind of stripping the information out of Facebook and manually inputting it into MyMA to set any automations and things off. You can do that completely kind of automated. So we then kind of move on to what are we creating our ads. So these are the elements of our ad. So it's really important to realize kind of what sections you're using when you're building an ad and what the purpose of each of them are. So the top section you've got there is your primary text. So that's the copy that you are putting in there. That's the bit where you want to do the main kind of information and tell people what you want to do. So like, for instance, this is a campaign that we've got running for Get Into Martial Arts at the moment, which is about embracing the Olympic spirits, martial arts trial, all that sort of thing, and getting them to do there. So what you'll see with this is that we've got the key piece of copy is in that first line. So depending on what device people are viewing these ads on, and particularly on mobile, they'll get between 1 and 3 lines of text initially, and then they'll have the option with the 3 dots that you can see there to expand that. So you want to make sure that that first line or first couple of lines is what's really kind of grabbing the attention. So whether it's like parents of X location, we're offering free trials, or does your child struggle with confidence, that's where you want that kind of key piece of information to be that's there. Part of the campaigns that we put out, we always give some social media copy options. So they're kind of geared with that in mind, that first line is something that's gonna grab that attention and hopefully make them stop with that constant scroll, because that infinite scrolling software is built to make us just kind of keep going and keep going. So you need to grab the attention and get them to stop. So that first line is part of that. Probably the biggest part of getting them to stop that is your creative. So the image or video that you have in there. So making sure that you have something there that's going to really kind of grab people's attention, stop them scrolling, that they're going to want to kind of find out more about. And what I'll talk about in a minute is about how you work out what that image is or what that copy is and what's going to perform better. So I'll talk about that in a second, but just bear in mind that that is really key for getting the attention. What people quite often focus an awful lot on, which isn't actually as important as you would think, is this headline text, which is just that first bit that's there in bold. And actually, a lot of people don't tend to read it. So it's just about having the kind of main reason and the main basis of what that ad is there. And then again, below it, you get another description, which you can see. It depends on what device you're viewing on as to how much of that you see. So that's really, really kind of key, that you make sure that what you're putting in there isn't too long. When you're building the ad, it looks as if basically the description has a bigger box. So don't be fooled into the fact that the majority of your text needs to sit in that primary box. And then your call to action, the button, is really, really key. So the two that tend to work best with this is either a learn more, if you're wanting to collect information from people or send them somewhere to find out more, to search for something. So for instance, this is for getting to martial arts. So when they hit that learn more button, they'll go onto the page where they can do their own search for their specific location and then choose a school and book. If you're doing, for instance, the traffic ads that mean that you want to take them straight there, there's a book now option. So if all your copy and maybe your image is about booking a free trial, have a book now button, really, really simple for them to see. I click that, I go through, I fill more details and I've got it. So they're all the different kind of elements of it. Another really important part of setting your Facebook ads up is targeting. And there's actually been a change made. I say recently, it's probably within the last 18 months, but it's not been particularly well publicised from Facebook. So I think a lot of people are still working on the older sort of version of the targeting. The key things you want to be focusing on basically when you're targeting is the location. So Facebook now have changed their algorithms, and their algorithms are now so kind of detailed and can grab so much information out that actually if you just specifically niche yourself down to only your location, then they can tell within that location who is most likely to click on your ads. They also, through tracking and things, will make sure that if certain type of person is clicking through and is then converting, then they will show it more to people that are like that. So just using location, I would always advise that the first thing you do when the first times you're targeting on a Facebook ad is you just say your location of your school and then a radius around that, which I would say around 5 miles is probably standard, but you will know what works for you. If your school in the centre of London, 5 miles is a long distance and nobody will travel that far to get to that school, to your school. So you want to make that smaller. If you're out in Scotland where it's more remote and people tend to travel 10, 15, 20 miles to get to something because that's just the way of life, then you do that. So make sure you're kind of tweaking that towards your school. The other things to bear in mind are age. So previously, a lot of people would say, oh, I know I want to target parents. So parents in my area probably tend to range between the sort of 25 to 40 area. So I'm just going to limit it to 25 to 40. That's what I'm going to do for the parents in my area. Whereas actually, what we see now is that one, you see some kind of older brothers, siblings, or if you're specifically targeting children, even like those that are a bit older will have their own accounts, so they'll see those. And also we see a lot of grandparents paying for. So I would always leave the age at the widest possible thing that you can, because again, Facebook will learn who is responding to your ads and target that better. So just keep that broad.
Interesting.
Yeah. Gender, I would say, is probably the only one you really want to target specifically. Is say you're doing a ladies only class or a men's only class, then you can use the gender. If not, as I say, it can be anybody. It might be a mum, a dad, an uncle, a goodness knows what, that sees that ad and actually then recommends it to somebody. So keep that more vague.
I think historically we've always said female mums between 25 and 40.
And it was very much because of the fact that the algorithms within Facebook weren't as good with the targeting. So actually we didn't want to be wasting our money on being so wide, because obviously the wider we would leave it in the past, that would just mean the more people it would show it to. So therefore the more expense you would incur by doing that. Whereas now, because the algorithms got better and Facebook has got better, it's then meant that they can target a lot better based on what's happened. So you almost want to leave it that bit wider so Facebook can learn who your audience are. Again, you say what we used to do, that interests and activities used to be really popular around going in and putting in that box and saying, oh, parents of 5 to 7 year olds or somebody that likes martial arts. Actually, the way that people use Facebook these days has really changed. So the way that Facebook deems if people have, say, got children or have an interest in martial arts or things, it's based on the pages they like or the groups that they're part of. Whereas people don't use Facebook that much in that way anymore. Like a lot of people will just scroll and just see posts of things and just see ads and things. So actually somebody might be a parent, but there's nothing to do with their Facebook profile that gives any indication that they are. So therefore you're removing people out of your audience that might be there. So it can sometimes take a little bit of time for it to build, but I would definitely say if you can leave it a bit wider and let Facebook build your audience for you, you will see better results in the long term, and also your ad costs will come down, which is always a positive thing.
It's what we've been doing with Gimmer, isn't it?
Yeah, so we've gone wider, and actually over time it becomes better targeted, and therefore the conversion is much better because it's shown to the people that want to see it, basically. So kind of following on from that, test and learn is the way to decrease your ad costs. So this is a thing, if anybody's done any Facebook ads training or anything with me in the past, you will have heard me bang on about test and learn. It can start out by costing you a little bit of money in the beginning because you're trying to find what works. But it's that thing of, well, I'll start out with this many things and then I'll find that this performs the best, and then these and these, and slowly you niche down to this ad that you know is going to work, and that's going to work for you for a period of time, and that's the one that converts the best, as opposed to going, oh, I'm going to try this and then I'm going to try this and I'm going to try this and this and this. And you don't know why something works, because you want to build on things long term, right? And you want to know that the next time you post an ad, it's going to perform as well or better than the one that you did before. So rather than just the jumping from tactic to tactic, it's about doing this process of testing and learning, and then you will see that over time your ad costs decrease based on what I was just saying a second ago around the fact that Facebook will learn. It's learning all the time. Like, people think that Facebook is a social media site. It used to be. It's not now. They're an advertiser. They are there to make money and to show people ads. And therefore they want to show people the ads that they're most likely to convert on, because they want you to pay for ads that then you get success out of, because then you pay for more ads and you get more success, and then that builds and builds and builds, and you're a constant customer. So they want to try and get you getting the best value for your money, basically, and that all comes from the test and learning. So I'll talk you through kind of the best way to do that now. So what you want to do is, when you create your ads, create multiple of those ads. So build your first ad out and then create multiple of them. So you can do this really easily by just going in and duplicating each ad. So you can see on this that everything is exactly the same with it. So all the copy, the headlines, call to action, all of that. And the reason I've blocked these kind of squares out is so that is maybe where your image would be. So the first time that you try an ad, you would try all the same copy, all of the same buttons, all of everything the same except for the image, and you would change your image. So you'd have 3 separate images. So for instance, on this next one, you could then change the copy and do that. So you would basically, what you're trying to do is each time that you run an ad, you're changing something different so that you learn what works. So again, the next one that we've got is you would change that call to action. So you keep all the copy the same, keep all the images the same, but see, does book now work better for me? Does learn more work better for me? Does another button work? What is the one that works? And then just go to the next one. So you're then back in your winners. So you can see with this, for instance, so this would be like the first example where all my copies are the same, everything else is the same, but I chose 3 separate images. So one I did was a stock image. That could be a video. I haven't put video on here because then obviously we'll be making noise while we're talking, but videos are great. Have an example of a video, and then when we do the campaign pages and the campaign materials, we always give kind of similar but different options, so different colors. So, and you can obviously change these. You can change the wording, you can change different things about them. The images that are on there are frames, so you can drag and drop them. So you can make these really subtle changes. And it seems silly. It seems like saying, oh, why would that middle one work so much better than the one on the right? And I wish I could tell you something really impressive as to why it does. But to be honest, we don't know. It's kind of one of the mysteries of human psychology, of just certain things will work better, and it changes area to area. Like across the UK, across even a really small town, time that you put an ad out at a certain time of year, something will work better than another one. So this is why I say this test and learn works really well, because actually if you go through this and you've put these out and you see these all go out at the same time, and within my budget I've spent so much money on them, and actually number one, the cost per lead that I got through from that was £6. Number two, it was £2, and number three, it was £4. Well, actually, I know that for whatever reason, number two worked the best. So it's that kind of image. It's those colours. It's using an image, not a video, or using a video, not an image, or whatever. It's about that kind of playing around. And then when you do your next one, you go, okay, well, I now know that video works really, really well. So what I'll do this time is I'll try a really short piece of copy or a really long piece of copy, or I'll put emojis in, or I won't put emojis in. And it's you tweak and change over time, and it's really small, really, really subtle changes that then you will hone down onto that ad that works the best for you. And it does take time. It takes time to go through it, but it will mean that over time you get something where your cost per lead is slowly falling because you become effectively more efficient at what you're doing, and you're putting the ads out there that people want to see. And as I say, it's all about that attracting attention. One thing I kind of would always advise is, as you're going about your day-to-day life, you will every now and again see an ad that's attracted you. Like, I bet you could think of an ad off the top of your head that you've seen.
Yeah.
That's one, and you see hundreds of them through the day on your phone as you're driving along or whatever it is, and something will grab your attention to it. And it's about just having a little thought to yourself and going, well, why was that? Was it because it was really bright colours on a black background? Or was it because actually the video that I saw, the people at the beginning of it were really, really happy and friendly? Or was it an offer they had? Take that and try and use that into your ads, because at the end of the day, the people that you're advertising to are quite similar to you. So just use that and have a bit of a play around with it. The thing with the meta ads is that it's really easy to turn them on, turn them off, create new ones, duplicate them, do a tiny little change. Like, don't be afraid to do that. It is about finding those winners and finding what works effectively. So we've got an ad and we know that that works, and that's great. And a lot of kind of Facebook ads training and things will stop there and go, that's great, you've got loads and loads of leads. But actually we don't want loads and loads of leads. We want lots of signups, because leads take time and energy. So I will always say, if you want 50 new people in your school by the end of the year, would you rather do that by dealing with 75 leads and 50 of them sign up, or by dealing with 400 leads and 50 sign up? You want the quality of those leads, and then you want to do the follow-up to make sure that they're signing through, because you don't just want this huge number of leads that are hanging around and you don't really do anything with them, or you just send them a booking link and they didn't apply. So it's about what you do in that follow-up that is all part of the stuff with, again, when we go back to the back to school things, it's why have they signed up? When you speak to them, having that conversation with them that says, oh, we saw that you booked a trial for our back to school offer. Like, is your child starting a new school this year? Like, what's their reasoning? Why do they want that? And coming back to them, so that you're, as you follow them through that journey and through that funnel, through to the booking and the trial, that you're building that relationship. So then that increases your chance of a sign up, because we want that higher sign up rate that's then gonna hopefully lead to people that are gonna stay and be retained for a long time, really.
What they really want is 400 leads and 300 sign-ups.
Oh God, yeah, 100%.
That's what they really want.
100%. That is definitely what we want.
You've got to nurture those leads.
Definitely. It's all about the nurturing. So yeah, that's kind of the main bit around the Facebook ads. So does anybody have any questions, I suppose, on that? Like, I'm happy to sort of take things.
Oh, okay. So Sean has put, might Nest ever create or provide videos for use with meta ads? That's not something we've ever really thought of before.
I've never really thought of the video. So I 100% get what you're saying. However, when we do these things, when we create things, the reason, if you've been with Nest for a while, you will know that the campaigns the campaigns that we used to put out were straight out, download, use them. We didn't have the Canva templates. What we then found from feedback from clients and also from our own research is that actually getting your students and your school into your ads makes a massive difference, because people see locations that they recognize. So you might have seen there's a bit of a trend with Facebook ads at the moment, but it's actually working really well, of people standing in locations that are in their things. So somewhere that's really kind of obvious. So I don't know, like in Nottingham we have a place called Woollerton Park, that everybody knows what Woollerton Park is. It's got a big old building. It was in the Batman movies, people recognise it. So standing in front of that building and going, parents of Nottingham, this is what I've got to offer you, stops that scroll. What we do have is there is a blog on the marketing toolkit about kind of video ideas, so that's worth kind of having a look at. But I get what you're saying, and maybe we do some more of that kind of idea stuff. But in terms of us providing like stock videos, it's then, have we got the right style? If you're kickboxing, a karate video isn't going to work for you. So really what I would advise is getting in there and doing some filming of your own schools. You don't have to bother about having really fancy computer filming equipment and things like that. Your phone is fine. People have gone past this expectation of polished ads. They're not expecting to see a TV level ad on their Facebook or their Instagram. So actually shooting something with your phone, you can get a little tripod off Amazon for like 10-15 quid. If you haven't got somebody that can hold the camera and film for you, do that. Do a bit of talking to camera, show around your school, get some of the students, and that will have a far greater conversion rate than what
it also creates that immediate link and relationship. And actually, Sean, I was going to say one of the reasons that our off-the-shelf ads never worked was that people said they're not wearing our suits.
Yeah.
And we said, well, we can't possibly provide images for every club that has your own suit on. So then we started making a white suit and a black suit and a kickboxing suit. So we tried to fill, but it still wasn't specialised enough. And rightfully so. It's because actually those images don't work as well as images of your own school with your own students. So
because it gives that social backup as well. It gives that, if a parent is looking at an ad and they're considering taking their child to your school, and the video that you show is full of stock imagery, then they probably won't notice and they won't think about it. But actually a much more powerful message is, I'm seeing a Facebook ad that's got a logo and a name of a school on it. And actually in that video are kids wearing t-shirts or wearing gis that have got that logo on, or it's on the background, it's on the wall in the background. And look at all those kids that are running around, smiling, enjoying themselves, learning, having a great time. Then a lot of marketing is so subconscious, but then they make that subconscious link of, that's that school and that's what the kids that go there feel like. So do I want my kid to feel like that? Yes, I do. Yeah. So I'm more likely to click on that ad and convert through than I am from the martial arts school down the road that has a stock video of somebody doing a perfect kata or a perfect sparring session. Actually, is that attainable? Is that realistic? No, it feels a little bit kind of out there, whereas subconsciously resonating with seeing the real school, seeing you, like the majority of the reason why a lot of people will come to your school is you, and it's really hard to do as a business owner to kind of sit there and be like, actually, I am the face of this. But being that makes it helpful. I mean, how much more dull would this webinar be if it wasn't me and Lou sitting here having a chat?
So dull. It
was just a voiceover on a screen full of slides. It's not, it's the personality, it's the person that brings it out. So therefore, get yourselves in there. That will make a big difference.
Perfect. Oh yeah, I hope that helps, Sean. Glenn asked, actually valid question. If we're using more than one ad in an area, are we then competing with ourselves as far as advertising goes?
So I'd say it depends on what your ad is. So if you're talking about like a ladies class with a kids class, then no. With the where I'm showing the different kind of versions of an ad, you don't end up competing with yourself, because how it works with Facebook, I'll try not to go too technical with this, is that Facebook will show certain ads to certain people, and then it will see how it best responds. Or then what it might do is, if a person sees your ad and it sees it with, say it's one image and they see it with image 1, they then might show it with image 2. And then if they click when it's image 2, the then second person, they'll go, well, actually, we'll use image 2 because that person didn't respond to image 1, they did to image 2, so let's show them that. If they then click, then that reinforces that message. Does that make sense? So
one is almost backing the other up.
Yeah,
Just creating more awareness. And
you will never compete with yourself on your own ad account, if that makes sense. The only time I would say you would start competing with yourself is, say you had 2 schools in 2 locations, but you overlapped the area, you could end up there, but the level at which you're competing is so minimal that it's not going to make a difference. You're competing for ad space. And I think what it's sometimes really, really easy to kind of get a bit wrapped up in, because it is our industry, is, oh, I am competing with the other karate school down the road for an advertising space. You're not, because Facebook doesn't go down to that detail. You're not competing with the other karate school down the road. You're competing with the restaurant and the dentist that's offering teeth whitening and goodness knows what. You're just competing for that ad space. So you won't kind of cannibalize yourself, because it doesn't go down to that detail. And that's the thing of where you monitor it and see which one is performing the best. And that thing where I said about you're turning off the ones that aren't working, because then you're not putting your money into something that isn't working. You use it to learn, find the thing that does work, and then you put your money behind that and back it.
Good. Sound. Good stuff, Gwen. Victoria, I think we've taken up quite a lot of we have got one more from Jenny. We have 2 adult courses starting in September. We'll be running 2 separate ads. How can we prevent them competing? I think
so. I would say they won't compete. I know that sounds a bit baffling, but there's nothing wrong with somebody seeing both, because if they realise that it's part of a scheme, they'll pick the one that's better for them, or they might recommend the other one. If, say, you're offering a men's and a women's just for real simplicity, the woman might recommend it to somebody they know that's male. Oh, I'm doing this course, do you want to do this one? So you don't do that. You say that idea of competing with yourself, I wouldn't get wrapped up in it. The only level at which that would ever happen is if you're like the likes of a big supermarket and your vegetarian offering might compete with your meat offering, and that's not what you want to do, because it's a totally different target market. Like it's the brand building side of it is enough that competing of ads doesn't really cause you a problem. And as I say, if you're posting them both from the same ad account, it will learn who is clicking on which ad and therefore show it to the most relevant person anyway.
Lovely. Okay, I hope that's answered everyone's questions. If I don't see anything else pop through in the next few seconds, which I don't think I will, then excellent. Listen, thank you so much for spending an hour with us. It was lovely to have you here on the webinar. As ever, these webinars are recorded, so they're going to be put, for those clients who are with us, they'll be in your marketing toolkit, and they're also on our Nest YouTube page, and I believe they're also on our website as well. So for clients who aren't with us, you can access them directly from our website.
Yeah, so we've done quite a few other webinars in the past as well. We've done specific ones on Facebook ads, so going into more detail, lots of different stuff about different campaigns and things. So definitely check those out if you want a bit more information. Yeah, absolutely. Keep your eyes out for the next one, and we will look forward to seeing you in September. It's brilliant seeing you all. Thank you so much. Take care and have an amazing back to school. Yes, good luck everybody.